part of the fun of coming to Earth is that you go in and out of touch with your divinity. Sometimes you remember that you're divine, sometimes you don't know that you're divine. You're going in and out. That's the thing that's important to know. So our work, my work, is to remind you and help you remember and to hold you to the promise of the universe, which is you are divine and therefore you get to create like the divine. The only thing that stops you, no matter how real it feels, the only thing that stops you are the limitations of your mind, and that's what our work is about. I have Casey on. Casey, can you hear me? Hey, Mira.
Hi, Crystal. I can hear you.
Great. Great. Casey, can you hear me?
Oh. Yes.
All right. Oh, there you are. So, Casey, you don't have your video on, right?
Right. I'm sitting, eating breakfast.
Oh, that's okay. Good. There's nothing wrong with that. It's early where you are. Where I am, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, wow. It's 9 a.m. here. Where are you?
I'm in Zagreb, Croatia.
Wow, beautiful. Good morning. Well, good evening to you. Good morning and good evening.
Thank you. Mira, where are you?
I'm in California.
In California. I can hear you, but your voice seems a little bit low. But it's okay. You know, it's fine for now. Let me do a little technology check. Am I sounding clear to you all? Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, very good. Perfect. All right, so we are going to get started in just a couple of moments. I see that Janine has joined and Ivy has joined. Hi, friends. Janine is in Colorado and Ivy. Okay, so look, I'm sorry. Mira and Casey, I'm also on Facebook Live, so I have 2 different windows going. As soon as we get started officially, I'm only going to be paying full attention to what's happening in our Zoom meeting, okay? So just to let you know, I'm not going to go back and forth. I am in the beginning, though, while I'm greeting people and just saying hi. And we're going to start in about 3 more minutes. You know, it's a funny thing because let's see, Dina has signed on. Dina, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, Dina.
Hi.
Great. I'm glad you were able to make it.
You do.
It's going to be really fun to see how many people show up today because do you know that I had 60 people sign up for this event? That's a lot of people who signed up, and I'm not sure. I don't think we're going to have 60 people show up. We'll be really lucky if we get 6 to 10. We're going to be feeling really good with 6 to 10. You know, like that's going to be a perfect turnout for this kind of thing. But even if it's just the 4 of us, we're going to be just fine. We're going to have a really good time. As a matter of fact, the smaller the number, the more individual coaching that we can get in. So we'll see how that goes for us. All right, so let's see.
Where we gonna go?
So I'll give you.
Wait, let's go to your comment.
Actually, what I'm going to do, my friend, is I'm going to mute everybody. Sam is here. Hi, Sam. Sam, you made it.
Hello.
Hey. I'm glad you made it. So what I'm going to do is mute everybody. How do I do that? I'm going to do that over here.
How are you doing? How are you doing? Mute.
So when you all are ready to talk, I want you all to remember to unmute yourselves, otherwise we won't be able to hear you, okay? But in the beginning, I think that there's not a lot of talking that you'll have to do. So what I'm going to do right now, because we're now at 5 after, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Here we go. So I want to welcome you all to Spiritual Guidance for the Badass Butterfly. And my name is Crystal Lynn Bell, and I'm here with Apollo. He's next to me, chewing on his squeak toy, so you might hear the occasional squeak. Just know that that's not me squeaking, it's my beloved dog, who is just my little pride, and joy. Right, so what we're going to do today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why we're here, and then we're going to do a meditation, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the energies that are going on astrologically, and these will be some of the things that were in the Spiritual Guidance for the Badass Butterfly report that I published yesterday. If you haven't had a chance to download that, don't worry about it. You can download it later. And actually what I'll do right now is put a link for it just in case the attendees in the Zoom meeting have not been able to download that. It is now in the chat window. And you can download that now or at any point that you want. It's on my website available for you. Anyway, so we'll go over some of the information there, and then we're going to end everything by talking to whoever's in the Zoom meeting about whatever issues are coming up for you, and how we can best prepare you to move forward with whatever is going on, okay? So I want to just check in. If there's a way to raise your hand in this, in Zoom, do you all see how to do that? And actually, I'm going to unmute everybody. So does everybody know how to raise their hand in Zoom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. All right. So if you all need something over the course of the meeting, just raise your hand, and then I will call on you. And I see that someone has I have a call-in listener. Someone's calling in on the phone. And do you want to, while we have everybody unmuted, would you like to introduce yourself, whoever's on the phone calling in? Okay, I'm not able to hear you. I'm not sure if you're muted or not. Sandra has just signed on. Sandra, are you there? I have Sandra who's just signed on. And I have another phone call-in listener. Fantastic. All right, everyone. Again, I'll be watching to see if you have your hands raised, if you have a question about anything, but other than that, we can go ahead and get started. Mute all. Very good. All right, so friends, thank you so much for joining me today. So I started doing this program. This is the first one that we're doing today. Spiritual Guidance for the Badass Butterfly, bringing us all together to talk about what we're doing and talk about the energy of the universe. Yes, what's going on astrologically, what's going on energetically, But also, this is an opportunity for me to talk to you all as a group, because we are a collective. As we are coming together in this group, we're coming together because we're some kind of a vibrational match at some level. We don't necessarily know what that level is. Some of it's good stuff, some of it's not so good stuff. And it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. We know that we're in this circle together because we need to be here. That's why we're here. So as one person shares their story, keep in mind that on the surface, it may or may not sound like it's something that you can relate to or that's something that applies to you. But I can guarantee you that if one person is talking about a thing and you're hearing that thing, there's some message that's in there for you, either coming from that person or coming from feedback that's going to be given or coming from the solution. So your job during this time that we're going to be spending together is to release resistance to what you're hearing and to become more receptive and understanding that we're creating a sacred circle that is basically about unconditional love. My work as a healer and as a coach is about helping people understand their divinity at the highest level. And I was just talking to a beautiful woman this morning. It was morning my time in Zagreb, like 5 o'clock in the morning. Actually, it was 4:45 in the morning my time, but in her time zone, I think it was 7 o'clock at night. And we were having a lovely conversation, and she's working, doing the same kind of work that I'm doing, or she's starting to do the kind of work that I'm doing. And as we were talking, she very authentically said, you know, the money is an issue. I can't make the money to do what I want to do. And the thing that really clicked with me, and hopefully we got it really clicking with her, it definitely clicked on the surface level, you know, on the conscious level, she got it. But the thing that was really, really strong for us is that in order to really be powerful in this world, for those of us that are in this circle, we have to be true to the divine that is within us. The divine that is in us is about being connected to heaven and earth, and it's about understanding that the only real enemy that we have is the lower mind's thinking. So we are much stronger than we were taught to be. And our job while we're here on earth is to come back to our divinity. We started off as divine beings. We came into this earth having the human experience. My experience is called crystalline. Your experience is called Mira or Sandra or whatever your name is. And you're living that experience. Part of the fun, part of the fun of coming to earth is that you go in and out of touch with your divinity. Sometimes you remember that you're divine. Sometimes you don't know that you're divine. You're going in and out. That's the thing that's important to know. So our work, my work, is to remind you and help you remember and to hold you to the promise of the universe, which is you are divine and therefore you get to create like the divine. The only thing that stops you, no matter how real it feels, the only thing that stops you are the limitations of your mind, and that's what our work is about. So as we're doing these monthly spiritual guidance for the Badass Butterfly with gatherings at the top of every month, we do this on the first Saturday of every month, by the way, at the same time. As we are doing these, keep in mind as you're coming to these things that this is not an opportunity to wallow in self-pity. It is an opportunity to talk about the places where you pity yourself, but to understand that the work we're doing is to help pull you out of pity. So my job is to listen carefully to you. And I'm good at this. I listen to the words you say, and I don't allow you to use disempowered language. And when you use disempowered language, I'm going to call you on it, and I will very gently. I'm pretty gentle. I will help you shift your language from being disempowered to being powerful, because what we seek is what is manifesting in the world. What we think is what's manifesting in the world. So we got to think and speak with alignment with our divine selves, and to understand that the mind and the earthly experience is to be mastered by us. All right, so I'm going to just check in over here and see who's on the call and make sure that no hands are raised. It seems like there are no hands raised, so we are good. And I want to take us now into Facebook. And I'm sorry, I'm checking on Facebook, and I'm just saying hi to everybody and letting you all know that if you want to come and join us, you have to log in with the links there, and it would be great to have you join us. You're more than welcome to. All right? All right, very good. So first thing we're going to do right now is go into a meditation. So I'm going to take you on a guided journey. This is probably about a 15, 20-minute meditation, so I want you to sit back and relax. Make sure you're comfortable. When I do these guided meditations, they're designed to activate something inside you. They're designed to help you. They're designed to act like medicine, giving you what you need in the moment. For some reason, the word is escaping me. It will probably come at another time, but it's escaping me. I'll let it just be gone. But the point is, I'm going to take you on this meditation. You can lie down. I prefer it if you sit up when you're meditating, just because it helps you to stay aware. And this is not a meditation where you should sleep. So sitting up and being aware would be a good thing. Sharp. Now, if you are driving, if you are driving, please don't. Please don't drive while I'm giving this meditation. Please pull over or mute this recording and then come back to it in 20 minutes and see if we're still meditating. But yeah, please. I'm Magic Woman. I am Magic Woman. If you are driving and listening to the sound of my voice, you will be lulled into sleep. So please don't drive. So let's go ahead and get started with the meditation. Very good. All right. Please go ahead and close your eyes and take some slow, deep breaths. And just kind of shaking off any tension. And allowing any stress that you feel to simply wash away. And just take a long, slow, deep breath in and hold it for a moment. And then slowly exhale. Again, just allowing any tension to melt away as you gradually relax more and more deeply with each breath. Taking another long, slow, deep breath in, holding it, and then exhale, emptying your lungs completely with your out breath. And let's do that one more time. Another long, slow, deep breath. Taking your time, really expanding your lungs. And when your lungs are full to bursting, hold it for just a moment. And then let it go. And you can feel yourself already begin to slip into a state of deep relaxation. So just continue to breathe slowly and gently in your own rhythm. Just relaxing. And we're going to do a little body scan. So I want you to bring your awareness to the top of your head. And just imagine that there's a relaxation warmth moving down from the top of your scalp. And let the energy flow into the muscles of your forehead and your temples. And just letting that relax. And allowing your eyes to relax. And your cheeks and your jaw are softening. And letting this peaceful feeling flow down your neck and into your shoulders. Soothing and releasing your shoulders. And just breathe, allowing this peaceful feeling to flow through your arms, relaxing and soothing all the way down to the tips of your fingers. And just feeling that peace move through your body, soothing and relaxing. And as your body relaxes, your mind relaxes, and your thoughts become weightless like wisps of clouds on the breeze. And you let that peaceful sensation move through your chest and through your stomach. And you can feel how this area gently rises and falls as you breathe, slowly and deeply, soothing and relaxing. Bringing your attention to your back. You feel this peaceful warmth moving all the way down your spine. And it moves into your hips and your buttocks. Along the backs of your thighs, the front of your thighs. And you feel all these large muscles loosening and relaxing. And the relaxation moves into your knees, into your calves, into your ankles and your feet. And your little toesies are nice and soft and warm and relaxed. And your whole body from head to toe is in a state of wonderful, blessed relaxation. And I want you to bring your awareness to your heart and just listen very closely for the sound of your heart with your ears and with your inner being. And just still your mind and be very quiet and just listen. Inhale and exhale very deeply. Taking your time, these long breaths. Just listening. Now, you may not be able to tune in and actually hear the sound of your heartbeat. Don't worry. Take your hand. I like to use my right hand, and I actually like to use my fingertips. Just place your fingertips right over your sternum, right over your heart center. And very gently, but firmly, place your fingers there. And that way you can start to feel the thud. You can feel that rhythm. And just take some deep breaths and listen and feel. Feel the gentle vibration as the waves created in your body come through from your beating heart. And just let these waves move through you, and if you feel like it, allow your body to gently sway and roll with the movement. Just relaxing. And just let your body come to rest very gently. And sit quietly, enjoying the feeling of your beating heart. Remembering to breathe deeply, inhaling and exhaling completely. And let your body begin to relax even more deeply to the rhythm of your heartbeat. And as you sit and listen and feel your heart, you are aligning your consciousness with its beat. So just be here with the rhythm and let your mind follow that rhythm. Let your heartbeat move through your consciousness. Let it fill your awareness. And right now I want you to become aware of a soft pink light that is shining right in the center of your heart. At first, the light can be very small. It's really just the size of a pinprick. But as you intensify your awareness and you focus your attention there, the light begins to brighten and expand. So I want you to feel the beat of your heart and witness the pink light at your heart's core begin to grow brighter and stronger. Breathe deeply and sense the light growing brighter. And take a few slow, deep breaths and just enjoy how the air, the prana, the life force energy is fueling you by fueling your pink light. And I want you to become aware of a very pleasant warmth rising from that pink light. The warmth is so comforting and it helps you relax even more deeply. And as you rest here, you feel the warmth begin to spread throughout your entire body. Feel it spreading upward into your shoulders, into your neck and head. And feel that warmth spreading down through your torso, really warming your organs, that pink light healing, loving, unconditionally loving all of your organs, letting it move through your whole torso, through your spine, into your hips, into your pelvis, down your legs, all the way down to your feet. Just letting this gentle warmth infuse every part of your body from head to toe. Feeling it moving in your bloodstream and through your cells. And just take a deep breath and enjoy the warmth of your heart's glow. And as you do, feel yourself becoming even more relaxed as we prepare to go even deeper into ourselves. You are now moving closer and closer to the core of your heart light. This is a very, very safe and sacred place. The closer you get to your heart light, the more loved and free you feel. It is a very pleasant, enjoyable experience. And even as I speak to you now, you are moving closer and closer to the source of all love, unconditional love. And I want you to imagine a staircase in front of you leading deep into your heart center. And this is a safe and secure staircase. It's been built with a lot of love, a lot of care, a lot of pride. And there's a soft and gentle glow of pink light on this staircase. So I'm going to count the steps as we go deeply into the very center of your heart. With each step you take, you will feel a greater sense of peace, serenity, and love. So let's start going down now. We're going to start with 21 steps to the bottom. As you take the first step, there are now 20 steps to the bottom. And you take another step, and it becomes 19, 18, 17. Taking each step brings you closer to the source of your spiritual power. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. You're feeling definitely safe and secure in this place. It's almost like coming home after a long journey, and you find that each breath is making you more and more relaxed, more and more surrendered. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. You're going deeper and deeper into your inner self. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now you've reached the bottom of the staircase, and you have reached the innermost center of your heart. I want you to take a moment to rest and adjust to the deep feelings of peace, acceptance, and love. So just take some slow, deep breaths. And just stand in your power. Feel yourself in your heart space with your feet planted firmly, pulling up the energy from the earth, pulling down energy from heaven. Feeling yourself in a state of peace, acceptance, and love. You are now one with universal life force energy. You are at one with love. Please notice a door before you. This door leads to the source of all love. Just being outside the door, you can feel the incredible waves of loving energy radiating from within. Approach the door, open it, and walk through now. The sense of love here is almost overwhelming as it fills your whole body. your mind, and your spirit. You are absorbing the love that is thick in the air. You are breathing it in with each breath that you take. Every time you breathe in, you're taking more and more love into your consciousness. And each time you breathe out, love's power is becoming a part of you. This power that you are breathing in is transforming you, awakening you to your ability to create a new life and a new world from the place of unconditional love. Sense your connection to everything in the universe. Through your heart, you are fully connected to the source of all creation. Breathe in the great wisdom and deep harmony. Feel every cell in your body vibrate with the highest frequency of every living thing. Unconditional love. More and more insights are becoming available to your conscious mind. At the same time, your heart light is growing brighter and brighter. Just feel your mind opening and your heart warming. Remember to breathe, my friend. Breathe. Every breath you take is unconditional love. Every breath is life force energy. While you are in this space of your heart, you will use the loving wisdom of your heart to create a love magnet that will bring love to you from every direction. So just look around the space of your heart and find a fire that's burning brightly. That's your heart fire. Place your hands near the fire and focus your mind on what your heart wants most of all. Focus on your desires. Now, as you focus on this fire, the fire is taking the images from your mind and sending them out to the universe with the power necessary to create that which you desire. Visualize your love and everything it means to you. What do you see? Who surrounds you? What's giving your heart joy? Allow yourself to feel the appreciation of these things right now while you're visualizing them. Feel the gratitude and the satisfaction that you're going to experience with your love. Feel it now, because it's those feelings that will call in the love, that will call in the desire. That's the law of attraction. Pour all of this beautiful and balanced loving energy through your hands and into the fire. And keep fueling your fire with more and more images of love and how it feels to experience this great love. And of course, love comes in so many different forms. It can be in the form of romantic, intimate love, friendship, family, love with someone who is passed, love for your children, love for your pets. But it can also be love for your work, love for driving down the street in a beautiful car, love for eating healthy food, love for exercise, love for anything you want. Really feel that appreciation. Feel the fun and the joy of your love. And know that in this moment, because you are feeling it, it is now yours. You feel it now, therefore it is yours. It has always been yours. You are just awakening to what was lying dormant inside you. And as you stand before this fire, you notice a new ability. You are able to trust much better than you were able to trust before. You are now trusting. In this moment, you trust. Feel the power of trust and faith flow through your body. This new ability is going to be very important when you're creating your life of loving joy. See yourself living your life from a place of love and trust. See all input entering your energy field and being transmuted by your heart into information of love. See any information that's coming into you being filtered in your brain to be processed in terms of love and trust. Your brain is going to work to turn everything into love and trust. See yourself taking action from the confident place of love and trust. See yourself at work, at home, with children, at the grocery store, with your family, even just sitting in traffic. Breathe in love and trust. And see yourself traveling, doing your favorite activity, listening to your favorite music, all from a place of love and trust. See all the stimulus from every outside source coming into your heart and being transmuted into love. And then see yourself taking action from the place of love and trust. Feeling the confidence that a loving heart creates, not just in your body, but in your mind, and witness the power you now have to shape your environment. This new ability to trust and have faith completely will be important when you are using your heart to create your joyous life. With each breath you take, your ability to focus your mind and feel your heart gets better and better. So breathe in deeply to your heart and let this feeling of unity and infinite love become a permanent part of you. And train yourself with love. Taking some deep breaths. And when you feel that you've given the fire as much as you can take your hands away and step back. And just relax and let yourself recharge after your efforts. You've created yourself a future that will be filled with love and prosperity. Right now in this moment, you are full of love and prosperity. And everything that you have imagined. This is yours as long as you are willing to believe and trust and allow love to deliver itself to you. You have done very well. So see yourself sitting down in your heart center and just let yourself continue to breathe in the power of this very powerful place. And as you continue to breathe into your heart, your new vision of your life of abundant prosperity will get stronger and more permanent. Your connection to everything in the universe is getting stronger, and you are able to create more opportunities to give love and receive love. You will let your heart and intuition guide you through manifesting your abundant love. And new ideas and concepts are flooding your heart and mind. You have a new degree of focus and determination growing inside you. It is the unity between your heart and mind that is making you a powerhouse. Your heart comes first. Your mind is a tool that serves your heart. Just be full of this feeling of unity. Breathe into it. Allow it to expand through you. Feel this unity taking permanent form in your body, preparing you for a new life where goodness and prosperity is constantly flowing to you, filling your world with beauty and grace. And we want to do just one more thing. I want you to, from your heart space, I want you to think about the life you live right now, what you've done so far today, what you did yesterday. And I want you to send out charges of love and trust to your day. Bless the days that have gone before. Bless the things that you have in your life right now. The people that are around you. Bless them. Send them unconditional love. And if you come across any shadow energy, send it unconditional love. And very gently, it's time now to return to the outer world. And I want you to find that doorway that led you down to this special place. And go back through the door and back to the staircase of 21 steps. And as you place your foot on the first step, you allow yourself to mentally run through all that you've done here. You've made a lot of progress in a very short period. That's okay. You needed only a little bit of time to get yourself aligned with the highest vibration that exists in the universe, unconditional love. It's been a wonderful experience, and you are, though, ready to return to the outer world. And you want to apply this. You want to go experience the richness of your life. You're going to make use of the knowledge, the wisdom, and the power that you have gained. And you have gained knowledge, wisdom, and power. So let's start going up the steps, counting the steps as we go. You're on the first step, so we step on to the second. Step number 3, 4, 5. And as you're progressing, you're feeling yourself very satisfied, and you're feeling like you're ready to come back into the world. Step 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And when we get to the top of the staircase, we will be in the outer world, ready to move on to other tasks and other projects. Step 11, 12, 13, 14. You're feeling more and more awake. You're starting to feel your physical body again. Step 15, 16, 17. Taking a really deep breath and noticing your body becoming more energized, more awake, more alive. Step 18, 19. You're almost fully awake. You're feeling refreshed and satisfied with yourself. Step 20 and step 21. You are now fully awake and aware of everything around you. You can open your eyes and greet the new life that you have created. You've made a lot of changes for your life during this session, and you will notice many things that seem to be different from what you remember them being before. This is normal and to be expected. Everything that has changed has been an improvement, so you will enjoy the differences. Give yourself some time to adjust to the new conditions of your life. May you find everything your heart desires. All right, checking in with my attendees. How is everybody doing? I'm going to unmute everybody, and if you want to share then please feel free to share. Who's that? Anybody want to share? Alrighty, I understand not wanting to talk after being super relaxed. So while you all are coming back into the present, I'm going to mute you again, and I'm going to mute you again. If you have a question or if you want to ask me anything or make a comment about anything, please just unmute yourself and then start, give me a little heads up. Hey, Crystalline. That'll work, okay? All right, so I'm going to get into talking about the what's going on with the energies. Let's see. Where's my phone? Oh, I'm minimized it. Here it is. Okay. All right. So I hope you all enjoyed the meditation. I love meditations. I love guided meditations. And I have a bunch of them that I'm working on. And in case you have not downloaded the Blessed Summer Meditation, you might want to check that one out because it's really good and it offers you blessings for the summer. Very intentionally crafted to literally bless you with some goodness for the summer. By golly, I should have a link for that, but I don't. It's on the website. Everything's on my website, www.crystallinebell.com. All right. So we're in July. Today's July 7th, and the sun is currently in the sign of Cancer. And the sign of Cancer is a beautiful water sign. Water signs are feminine, emotional, intuitive, and receptive. So when the sun moves into Cancer, we all become, no matter what our sign is, we all become a little more Cancer. So we become a little more intuitive, a little more sensitive, more sensual, more receptive, more feminine. Now, if you've been feeling particularly emotional these days, then this would be one reason why. Because the sign of Cancer is ruled by the moon. And the moon is all about emotions, and especially dark, hidden emotions. So our natural way is to, as humans, we are raised to take any dark feelings, particularly if you are growing up in, a culture that does not tolerate dark feelings. You're not allowed to cry. You're not allowed to complain. You're not allowed to be angry. You're not allowed to, you're seen as negative if you're complaining, or you're a pain in the ass because nobody knows how to deal with your problems. That will cause you as a child to tamp down your feelings and to go into denial about your feelings. I don't feel that because nobody's going to do anything about it. Nobody wants to hear it, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, the more you suppress a feeling, the more you suppress an emotion and push it down, the more you deny it, the more the emotion stays in your system. And I like to imagine it as spinning on itself. And what it does is that negative emotion creates within itself a vortex. And anytime you have a vortex, a vortex is a center of attraction. So you get a negative emotion, you've suppressed it, you've denied it, it doesn't have an outlet, so it spins and it creates a vortex within you. So you'll notice you have tightness in your neck, your shoulders, you've got gas, you've got your knees don't work, you know, you got a sore elbow, you got cracking knuckles, you got all sorts of little aches and pains and things that are bugging you. These are caused by little vortices of blocked energy. That's a really simple explanation, but it's one that's really important. So when you're doing things to heal yourself, meditation, yoga, tai chi, those things are all designed to help bring you to a state of neutrality or balance in your system. So you do that by meditating, by doing yoga, by doing tai chi. You're moving your mind and your body into an alignment where they are balanced and in a state of peace. That is one thing that you can do to stop these vortices, these vortexes. I think the plural of vortex is vortices. That's why I'm saying that. You stop the vortices from spinning, and it causes you to relax, and it causes your energy to flow. So, what does this have to do with the sun in Cancer? Well, when these planets are moving through their different moving through the zodiac, they are giving us unique opportunities to. They're giving us unique opportunities to create healing within ourselves. So when the sun moves into Cancer, it stays here for like 30 days. That means you've got 30 days to feel your feelings and deal with what you're feeling. So it's a great time to get therapy, to have to do shadow work, to really do meditation, anything with healing, getting a healing session, working with crystals, working, if you like witchy poo stuff, I love witchy poo stuff, you know, working with the energies of, you know, with incense for different energies. I'm looking at my stash of incense, and I have about 12 different incense up there from, you know, from the goddesses. I've got incense for love. I've got Aphrodite incense up there. I've got some Pluto incense up there to help me get in touch with my power. Anyway, doing all this kind of healing work is really good right now. So the sun is going to be in Cancer until July 22nd. And then it's going to change change very drastically. So the sun is a masculine entity. It's masculine, therefore its energy is outward, it's direct, it's not very feeling, it's much more thinking, it's much more rational, it's much more logical. So the sun right now is in Cancer, so the logic is softened, we're more intuitive, like I said, we're more feminine. Well, when the sun moves into Leo, which is a masculine sign and the sun's natural home, we're going to start getting back into rationality, and we're going to start getting back into getting direct, and we're going to start moving away from our emotional self. So Cancer is ruled by the moon, the sun is ruled, Leo is ruled by the sun. You've got a moment of being super feminine, moving into a moment of being super masculine. And the sun will stay in Leo for like 30 days as well. So we've got until the 22nd to really get our emotional baggage cleared out as much as we can. So now is the time to be feeling your feelings, doing your shadow work, etc., etc. Now, you all know that I release the moon reports 4 days before the moon rises. So we have a new moon in Cancer coming up on July 13th. And that new moon is a time of creativity. So with the new moon, you've got the sun in Cancer and you have the moon in Cancer, and it's an eclipse. Oh, Lord, there's so much going on right now, I forgot. You see how hyper I'm getting right now as I'm starting to talk about this stuff? I'm really excited. There's a lot of stuff going on. So we've got a new moon in Cancer, sun in Cancer, and it's going to be an eclipse, which means, wait, is somebody talking? Is somebody trying to get my attention? No, we're good? Okay, cool. All right, excellent. So we have the new moon in Cancer, the sun in Cancer, and we have an eclipse. So we have the sun that's shining here, and we have the moon that's going to be passing right in front of it. Not 100%, just a little bit, 20%, okay? But that 20% is enough to make a difference. Eclipses are really, really, really important. So an eclipse is just what it sounds like. Something is getting blocked out by the other. So we're going to be experiencing on the 13th an eclipse of the masculine aspect of the self by the feminine, which means that the feminine is coming forward. Your receptivity is coming forward. Your sensuality is coming forward. All those wonderful things that are associated with femininity are coming forward for us to use and do something with. Now, you may not know what to do with all this femininity coming forward. Meditation will help. I have the new moon, or I will have the new moon report, the new moon ritual available for you. That will give you some hints about how to use the new moon. Also, of course, in the report that I write, the spiritual guidance for the badass butterfly tells you exactly what I think you should be doing with the moon, or with the energies that are going on right now. So it's all in the report that you downloaded. But the ritual I will have up in a couple of days, and you will be able to go there and start doing that ritual. It's a one-day ritual for the new moon, so you go and you do the ritual any day between, you can start the ritual on the 10th of July. You can do it all the way through the 18th of July, and it should have a good effect for helping you receive the information of the moon. Okay. What I mean is, when I say that, is using the moon, the new moon in Cancer's guidance. You'll be able to use that for 10 days, starting on the 10th, going through the 18th. That'll be the most effective. So doing the ritual anytime between those days is going to be the most important thing. I am so hyper right now. I'm sweating. When I channel and do these things, I get really, really sweaty. And I wore a silk dress. Dummy! Dry cleaners. All right, so Sun in Leo. So Sun in Cancer, new moon in Cancer, we got that. I want to talk to you about Sun in Leo. I did talk about it a little bit. The thing that we want to move into with the Sun moving into Leo. Here we have this kind of darker feeling with the Sun in Cancer. We're much more mellow. We're much more internal. By the way, the feminine is associated with the inner world. It's associated with your going inside yourself. So during the full moon, during all the moon cycles, right? The new moon and the full moon, I always have you go inside yourself and work from a place of internal stuff. Well, with the Sun moving into Leo, I'm probably going to be asking you to do more external things, meaning thinking about what you want to create in the world, what you want to bring forth. Leos are very big in their personalities. They're very strong in their personalities because they are imbued with the Sun. The Sun is the resource, the authority in the universe. There's nothing bigger in our solar system. It's called a solar system. It's called a solar system for a reason, because the Sun is the quintessential badass in the system. It's our star. Therefore, as the Sun moves into Leo, we have to understand that we're being called into being more like the Sun, more authoritative, more strong, more masculine, more reasoning. Doesn't mean, though, that you throw your intuition out. It doesn't mean you throw away your femininity. It means that you allow yourself to take that beautiful femininity and the things you've learned while the Sun was in Cancer, you now bring that forward with you into Leo. I hope this is making sense. I need to check in with you all. Are you all okay? Anybody with questions? I'm going to even hop on Facebook. I don't know if anybody's listening on Facebook. Does anybody care on? I don't know if I'm even on Facebook anymore. I don't think I am. I might have thrown us out of Facebook. Oops, my bad. Sorry, Facebook friends. Sorry, I can't even find the Facebook thing. Oh, there it is. There are a few people there. All right. Okay, so a few people there listening. I hope that this is all right. So if you all have any questions, please, Facebook, if you have any questions, type them out. I'll address them. But if you're in the Zoom room, I want to hear from you. Feel free to ask any questions you have, okay? Unmute yourself and then ask your question, or raise your hand and ask your question, okay? Oh, and I do see, Bossy is there. Hey, oh my God, my stepsister's on the line. Hi, Angie. Aw, hey. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, I didn't realize that more people had signed on. Thank God it lets you sign on. I didn't realize that. I see I've got Raven and Sandra. Hey, friends, hi. I'm so glad. That's so cool. All right, so as we are moving into Sun in Leo, we are being called to be more Leo-esque, more in our masculine authority. Oh man, I forgot to tell you, the moon is feminine authority. So the moon is feminine authority, the sun is masculine authority. Feminine authority is about having authority in your own life, inside your own world, inside yourself, meaning you are the master of this body and you are the master of your mind. Nobody masters your mind. Your ego does not get to run your mind. So it's up to your feminine authority. Oh, I'm saying that wrong. Let me start over. Okay, here we go. You have two natures, a feminine nature and a masculine nature. The two of them, you have the potential to be full authority in both of them. Full authority in your masculine, full authority in your feminine. The two of these have to work together in order for you to be at your highest, right? So the masculine and the feminine work together. The feminine is your intuition. It's a wild, instinctual nature. It's like knowing, like this morning, I was outside walking my dog at 2 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. And I'm walking, it's dark, and I'm la 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 walking. It feels good. I feel great to be outside. My dog feels good. It's peaceful. And I start having something inside me, and it goes, a snake, a snake, a snake, a snake in the grass, a snake in the grass, a snake in the grass. And I'm like, why the fuck am I chanting a snake in the grass all of a sudden? And we turn a corner, and then I'm watching Apollo do a little thing. You know, he's doing a little dance, and he's kind of jumping around. And there was a snake in the grass. A little snake, beautiful little, like a copper-colored snake, beautiful snake. Instinct is the thing that knows that the snake is in the grass. And it tells you, snake in the grass, snake in the grass, snake in the grass. You turn the corner, there's a snake in the grass. I live in a city. I live in Zagreb, Croatia. We don't see snakes in the grass. Ask any Croatian, ask any Zagreb person. This is a city. When's the last time you saw a snake in the grass? They're going to be like, what? We don't see snakes in the grass here. Maybe people who live in the country do. But either way, you know, it's not common to see snakes in the grass. So the point is, your feminine nature, that's my feminine nature that was talking to me, saying snake in the grass, snake in the grass. Okay. It has to work we're taught very early on to suppress our feminine nature. You don't trust your heart, you trust hard facts. And you go by your bank account. If your bank account says you only have 16 cents in it, then you don't plan a trip to Italy in a month because you don't have any money. right? So the instinct says you need to plan a trip to Italy. The rational self says you only have 16 cents. You need to focus on getting a job. Don't think about that. Put that off for 5 years. That's the logical thing to do. You can get a job, work on it for 5 years, and then you can earn the money to move to Italy. I'm moving to Italy next month. I moved to Italy in 1 month. I moved to Italy in 5 weeks on the 18th of August. So that's what you do. You say fuck off, rationale. I'm following my instinct. My instinct says I'm moving to Italy. Now, that's what you follow. So the key, though, is to understand that these two have to work together. The rational self we're taught to give more credence to the masculine rational self. What I want you to unlearn is to stop giving so much credence to that. Yes, it does make sense to listen to your rational self, but your rational self is a tool of the heart. So when the heart says move to Italy in a month, and your rational self comes in with, yeah, but I only have 16 cents in my account, what you have to do is understand that this is fear talking, and that this mind is supposed to serve this heart. It's not the other way around. If the heart says, I want to move to Italy, and the mind says, well, we'll do that in 5 years, that's the mind doing what it wants to do. It's not serving the heart, it's serving its fear. So what we have to do is train our mind to say, all right, heart, I hear you saying that you want to move to Italy in the month. Instead of saying why it cannot be done, you say, how can we do that? And then that's when the magic starts working. That's why right now, while the sun is in Cancer, I want you to focus on all the shadow emotional stuff. The emotional stuff blocks your heart from functioning at its fullest. That love meditation where we just showered ourselves with love and thought about everything we want, that's beautiful stuff. That's what your heart wants. Your mind will be like, we can't do all that stuff. I don't know how to do that. How am I going to make that happen? So what we want to do is train the mind to understand that it does not need to know how to make that stuff happen. What it needs to know how to do is stop thinking and start listening to the heart, because the heart is actually the brain. The mind, the brain, that little thing in your head, is an offshoot of this thing. This thing, the heart comes first, the brain comes second. So what we want to do is get control, master our mind, and teach it to start saying, how can I make that happen, instead of this can't happen because, okay? And that doesn't mean that you don't ever ask or consider why something can't be done. But you don't want that to be your leading thing. You want, how can we make this happen, be the leading question. Checking in with my peeps. Who has questions? Who wants to talk? I'm talking a lot. Somebody want to say something? Questions? Nope. Everybody's like, nope, we're good. All right, I'm going to go on and keep talking. Y'all better stop me. All right. I'm going to keep going. All right. So Leo comes up July 22nd, where now we've done the work in Cancer to deal with our emotional baggage. Leo comes in. It is time for us to get our fun on. It is the middle of the summer. It is hot. We are to take off our clothes, show off our bodies, have fun, engage, be sexy, be fun. Leo rules the fifth house. The fifth house is about joy, creativity, and everything that comes from joy and creativity. So, pleasure. It's known as the house of pleasure and the house of creativity. So, children come from having pleasure and creating. They come from sexual intercourse. So, yes, you are to get some sexual intercourse in the next 3 weeks. Hope there's nobody under 18 listening. I should have put that in the release form. You need to be 18 in order to listen to you participate. So sex. And everything creative. So thinking about new ideas, right? We want the masculine in you, the rational part of you, having sex with the feminine, intuitive side of you. We want you grooving inside yourself where you're feeling something and taking inspired action, and you're feeling something and taking inspired action, and showing up places and feeling good in yourself. That's what we're looking for in starting July 22nd. Now, we have another moon phase that's going to come up. Wait, is there anything else about Leo that I need to talk about? No, not right now. We have a full moon coming up on the 28th. If I'm not, okay, it'll be in the report. By the way, okay, sorry, couple things. Let me stop for a moment. The report that you've downloaded is incomplete. It is missing the last moon report because I just couldn't get it done. Sometimes, you guys, when I am writing for me is about channeling, and sometimes I just can't get there. And it's a little bit hard for me to project out to a planet to find out the messages. I get a little bit confused. So I used to do the reports just like 3 or 4 days before the energy, and it was much easier for me to connect to the energy. But now I have to work differently, and it's very tiring. Those reports take me a long time to write. I'm not a fast writer, and it can take me 8 hours to write one report. And you see they're kind of long. They're like 20 pages, right? And the whole report that I've written for you, that one is going to be at least 60 pages because I have the moon report from June in there and the 2 from July. So there's one report from June and then 2 from July. So anyway, it's a big ass report. Just anyway, sorry. By the time next month starts, I will be ahead because I'm now a little bit better at tuning in way ahead of time. All right, I'm still channeling and I'm still sweaty. My silk is sticking to me. Don't wear silk when it's hot and humid and you're channeling. Wear cotton. All right, I should drink some water. Hold on one second. Okay. So, somebody's got their hand up. Yay! I see how it works. Who has their hand up? Let me see. Hold on. Raven has her hand up. Hey, Raven, I'm unmuting you. Wait, just unmuted Sam. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Raven, 1 second. Raven, say something.
Hi.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. My question was, what exactly is shadow work? I'm sorry if you already went through it because I'm late, but I really would like to know.
No,
what.
I haven't. It's such a good question. Oh my God, it's the best question. So, okay, do you know what shadow is?
Yeah, I would say that I do.
Okay, tell me a little bit about what you think shadow is, and I'm going to just enhance it or supplement it if you don't nail it all. So just go ahead and say what you think it is.
Okay. Well, to me, shadow is basically being in the dark or going into the dark, maybe going inside yourself.
Yeah.
But I don't really know what you're doing when you go in there. It doesn't sound scary, but I just don't really know how I would navigate or do that.
Right. That's beautiful. Thank you. So shadow, when we say shadow or when I say shadow, The idea is that when we face the sunlight, we have light. You know, we're facing the sun and we're going in the direction of what's positive and affirmative, right?
Mhm.
But of course, as we're facing the sun, what's cast behind us? There's a shadow.
Mhm.
So here we are, we're walking along, and we've got our face turned up toward the sun, and we trip and we stumble and we fall, and all of a sudden we are facing the other way. You know how it is when you trip and fall, you feel like shit. And you're like, oh, this sucks. That is shadow. When you are in the dark part, you feel bad, you feel negative, you don't feel, you feel just bad, okay?
Mhm.
Shadow work is when you consciously go in and you work with the negative stuff. Now, normally, your shadow is operating at an unconscious level. It's operating below the level of your consciousness. It is influencing your money. It's influencing your relationship. It's influencing all sorts of things. Wherever you have something in your life that you don't like, it's because of shadow. So shadow work is when you go in and you consciously sit down with what's bothering you and you do work to help relieve yourself. Now, it's many different ways of doing the work. Just sitting down meditating can be shadow work if you are consciously sitting down looking for solutions. So, okay, my dog isn't obedient to me. I'm just going to sit here and meditate on it. You know, that's a way of doing shadow work. But usually when I'm referring to shadow work, I'm referring to a series of exercises where you're sitting down looking at the cause of the shadow. You're looking at the true origins, yes, but also the judgments you have around it, the judgments other people have, the judgments you think other people have around your shadow. Um, the the impact that the triggering or the original trauma that caused the shadow, the impact that that has on your psyche, that's the kind of thing we look at when we actually do shadow work. Does that help, Raven?
It does. I have been experiencing a lot of, that negative energy or being in that dark. So shadow works just sounds like something that I want and need to do for myself to move past and really be able to experience my greater self or my best self.
Yeah, yeah. So in September, I'm going to be starting a shadow work series, and I know that's a long time off, but I have to create it, you know.
Mhm.
Um, during if you wanted to sign up for coaching with me one-on-one, it's one of the first things that we learn how to do, and it's one of the things that we do throughout all of my coaching. I've been coaching with people. My minimum time to coach with a person is 6 weeks, and the longest I've been coaching with a person is about 2 years. And the thing that is consistent always is shadow work, because shadow work makes we like living in our brains. We love our brains. It's fun to think. It's fun to engage the world through the mind. It's fun. And shadow work is hard, but it becomes fun when we are engaging it with our minds. It's like figuring out a puzzle, and you go in there and you learn stuff. You're like, what? Like people all the time when we do shadow work, there's always this moment where a person goes, I didn't realize I thought that, or I didn't know I had that inside me, you know, or oh my God, I thought that I had dealt with that and it's still there controlling everything, and or it's I feel so relieved because I've been holding that down for so long. Oh my God, it feels so good to get that off my chest, you know? And that is what shadow work is. I hope that's helpful.
Oh, that was very helpful. Thank you. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, good. And I look forward to working with you on it. I love doing shadow work, and I'm a big nerd. Like some people are nerds for books and Star Wars. I'm a nerd for shadow work. I'm like, let's get in there. Let's look at that. And how does that make you feel? And I want you to really feel into that. Tell me, where does that come from? All right. Are there any other questions? All right, everybody's good. Excellent. So let me finish this up and then we'll actually get into a little bit of something. We'll see how this goes. Hold on one second. I'm going to lower all hands. I'm going to also mute everybody. And then, okay, we can continue. Right, excellent. So now's the time while we have the sun in Cancer to do shadow work. Then the sun moves to Leo, and new moon, which happens on the 13th. Remember, new moons are about thinking about what you want to create and bring in for yourself. Full moon, which we have at the end of the month, the full moon in Aquarius is where you're going to go back in and you're going to start dealing with shadow work in a deep way. So new moon is about what you want to create in the outside world. Full moon is where you are broken, where you have shadow. We do shadow work. The moon ritual for the shadow work phase is 10 days long. That's a lot of ritual, but it's a really good thing because what we do is we have you spend the first 3 days feeling into your shadow, feeling your feelings, and letting spirit guide you into your deep, dark feelings. And then on the 4th day, we have the actual moon ritual where it's a special kind of thing that we do. We offer, we work with shadow and light, and we work with goddesses to help us connect with the moon. And then we move into an area of the next several days, 5 through 10, you move into unconditional love, healing, and forgiveness, right? That happens over those last few days. Very powerful opportunity to heal every single month, and it's a great way, like for people who don't like to meditate, it's really great to have these rituals because there's 10 days of meditation for you right there. There's 10 days of focus for you right there, and if you're willing to do that, you're able to actually kind of get some meditation done. All right. So full moon we've got 2 more things to talk about. I need to be quick. So full moon in Aquarius. And again, you all, I need to write this up for you. The write-up will be out and I will email it to you. Just keep your eyes open for a few emails from me in a few days. I'll have that write-up for you for the full moon as well as I want to try to do something for Mercury retrograde. So full moon in Aquarius. So sun in Leo, full moon in Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of the genius. It's a thinking sign that views the world through its mind. It engages the world through the mind. Aquarius is aloof. It's the nature of Aquarius is objective. It's a friend to all, and it's really humanity based. It's ruled by 2 planets. It's ruled by Uranus, which is about the higher mind, and it's ruled by Saturn, which is about bringing excellence to one's being. So having these 2 rulers makes the Aquarius personality very interesting because on one hand, it's out there, it's super expansive, it's a channel. I'm a channel. I'm an Aquarius, so I'm the classic intuitive channel. Everything just comes from there. Hardly read any books because it all just comes, and I'm opening, right? Uranus, open crown chakra. The Saturn is the reason why I'm able to write these reports and actually get them done and make them so thorough, because Saturn, the nature of Saturn is to see things through to completion and to make excellent. So there's a lot of detail. Notice there's a whole lot of links and there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into your monthly 60-page report. It's like a book that gets written, and it's filled with details. That's the Saturn in me. Won't let it go. So what happens when we have a full moon in Aquarius? What happens is this. The full moon, as I said, is a time of going into the shadow. So there are a couple of things I need to tell you. First of all, do I want to tell you that? Yeah, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. Okay. So on the 13th of July, we're stepping back a little bit. We're going back to Cancer right now. On the 13th of July, we have a new moon in Cancer. The new moon is the time you put your wishes out. You think about what you desire, and you connect with the moon and you tell her, and the work starts for that, right? Starts making your desires come true. In 6 months, you're going to have a full moon in Cancer. And at that time, any resistance you have toward the desires you set up today or on the 13th, that's when you're going to work out those shadows. So the new moon, you're putting your desires out there. This is just like with a baby. 9-month period, you have you make the baby, you have the intercourse, you get pregnant. 9 months later, you have your baby out in the world. Same thing with the planets and your ideas, because you're giving birth, right? Having an idea, putting it out on the moon, on the new moon, is saying, hey, I want to give birth to this. So 9 months later, you should be expecting that what you asked for 6 months ago or 9 months ago is coming into fruition. That's how we use the energy of the new moon. So 6 months ago, there was a new moon in Aquarius. What you were thinking about and planning on at that time is what's going to be coming to fruition in 9 months. Well, you have this opportunity with the full moon to go in and find your resistance to the desires you established 6 months ago, right? So, and for example, 6 months ago, sorry, 1 second. That's fucking funny. That's fucking funny. Okay, so 6 months ago, around my birthday, right? New moon, I was asking for getting really clear about who I am. Who am I? And really coming into my magnificence and my power, right? I want to move to Italy. I want to have a farmhouse. And that's what my heart desires, right? My egoic self said, yeah, in a few years we can do that. We'll have a whole bunch of money saved up. And I'm like, all right, fine. Here it is. Actually, a few months later after that, I got this big impulse. And I said, oh my God, I literally woke up and I'm like, I'm moving to Italy now. The thing that came up to me was, why am I not moving to Italy now? Sure enough, I pursued it. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I pursued it, and I'm moving to Italy on August 18th. So it wasn't 9 months, but it's still within that cycle. So that's how it goes, right? The whole idea is that you ask for something at the new moon, when the full moon comes up, and I will have to deal with some shadow stuff around the full moon, but either way, I've already made the date. I know. I actually thought that I was going to be moving on September 1st. That was what I said when I was thinking in April. I'm like, I'll move September 1st. I hadn't even remembered that I had asked for this at my birthday at the time of the new moon. Hadn't even remembered. And sure enough, I'm planning things, and it's just the universe working through me. Spiritual guidance is just coming through and acting itself out. So your job with the full moon is always to look back in your journals at what you were doing 6 months ago. That's why you need to keep a journal. If you're not journaling, you're missing out on some powerful creative opportunities. The beautiful thing is that it's never too late to start. You have your whole life ahead of you. You get to actually live your life starting now. So it's not too late to start. And then in 6 months from now, because you know that 6 months is going to come, right? 6 months from now, you'll have your journaling done. So that's how the new moon and the full moons work. That's how I teach them to you, and that's how we use them as a tool for manifestation and calling in whatever it is your heart desires. Next thing. Right, so the full moon in Aquarius, what does it mean? So Aquarius is about creating innovation. So now is the time to think about where you want to innovate yourself, innovate your person, innovate your life. Where you need to start thinking more expansively. The sign of Aquarius has really big, bold dreams and ideas, and you want to get into that energy. The planet Uranus is a big planet. Saturn is a big planet. These are really powerful influencers in the zodiac, in the solar system. So you want to take the energy of these planets and use them. So we're doing shadow work. The idea is to understand how you have blockages to your connection to source energy, how you have blockages to your connection to thinking big, to seeing a big picture and knowing that you can make it happen, where you have blockages to excellence, blockages to discipline, blockages to following through. These are all of the Aquarian learning, because Aquarius is, again, ruled by Uranus, which is the big thinking about innovation, but also it's ruled by Saturn, which is about excellence, discipline, attention to detail, and learning hard lessons. Saturn is also about being really business oriented. So there's a sense of orderliness within the Aquarian personality. And when you have this full moon in Aquarius, any resistance or blockages that you have to being disciplined or ordered or structured, any blockages that you have even to your own business, if some of you have your own businesses or you want to open your own business, now is the time to work on those things. Are there any questions? I should check in. Raised hands, no raised hands, I would know now that I see that this is the way. Anyone with, oh, somebody's raised their hand. Okay, very good. 2 people have raised their hands. Let's see. I've got Dina. Dina, I'm going to unmute you.
Okay.
All right, Dina.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now. Hi.
Okay, I wanted to know, with everything that's going on, we have a lot of planets in retrograde, and I think Saturn is in retrograde now until like the end of September, I think.
Sure.
I'm not- So how does that energy work with us with all? I mean, I know you're saying that we should start working on these things that we want to manifest.
Yes.
But then you have these other people who are saying, well, maybe you need to slow down because I know Mars is going into retrograde soon.
Right.
Um,
Yes, absolutely. All these things, all you're talking about makes perfectly good sense. But the thing is, you don't have to necessarily get so caught up in the details of that. So when I run my reports, I run them based on the energies that are most going to affect you. Dina, is that you? Should I
mhm.
mute you? I'm gonna mute you, Dina, because I think that maybe yes. Okay. Um, Dina, when you're ready to talk, just unmute yourself, okay? Um, so here's the thing with retrograde planets. When a planet goes retrograde, the thing that you want to do is focus on redoing. But as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to focus on every single planet all the time and you're not a professional astrologer or someone who's very, very, very well read with astrology, you are going to be trying to micromanage your life. And I don't think most people are trying to do that. So that's one reason why I don't get into all that. I don't feel like everybody needs to work with every single planet all the time. I call attention to the planets. I always focus on the moon because number one, the moon is here. It's something we can all see. It's something we can all relate to. I focus on the sun because it's something we can all see, we can all relate to. That's the primary thing I focus on. Saturn retrograde is a slow retrograde period. It's slow and long. It takes Saturn 2 years to make its way through one sign in the zodiac. Uranus takes a whole 84 years to get all the way around the zodiac. 84 years. 24 years for Saturn, maybe a little bit more, 25, depending, because it's 2.5 sometimes, it depends. Jupiter takes 1 year to get around. The sun takes 1 year to get around. Um, so, so all of this is to say, you don't have to necessarily work on all those different retrogrades and worry about them or think about them. My general rule of thumb for every retrograde that you want to look at is it's about slowing down because you have to go back and redo work that you've done in the past. So when Venus goes retrograde, you can always bet that one of your lovers is going to come back and be in contact with you. They need to work out their shit with you. You need to work out your shit with them. It could be simply that you guys need to like acknowledge one another and say, oh, you know what? I'm not mad at you anymore. That's all you need. But it could be something big. Maybe it means that you all need to get back together. It depends, right? It all depends. So for me, by getting into deep meditation with the moon, that already forces you to start thinking about what you want and to start thinking about what's blocking you. If you work just with the moon, you are doing a lot of work. She has 2 moon cycles that are 2 moon phases that I share with you each month. If you're doing that, that's a lot of planetary work. If you're working with the sun, that's a lot of planetary work. For me, Dina, I just don't feel like I want to bombard people with all that information in my readings. And we could go into every one of those retrograde planets and talk about them, but it would take us another hour, and we only have another 20 minutes. Dina, I'm going to unmute you. Give me some feedback.
I'm sorry, say that.
Oh,
I trust me. I appreciate you telling me that because I'm trying to figure out. I'm in such an area of my life right now, crystalline. I don't know if I'm going north, south, east, or west. And then the retrogrades are happening. I'm like, oh Lord, I don't know if I need to go north, south, east, or west, and if I need to go 5 miles or 25 miles or
exactly.
3 miles, or do I need to go backwards? And my daughter, who is on the call too, saying that's my daughter. She's like, "Them educators don't matter. You just need to move forward." I'm just like, but they, I'm hearing about them every day. She's like, no, 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 no. So
Yeah.
she's like
No,
my accountability partner in this. We're kind of like on this journey together here.
that is
So I do thank you for telling me that. And I do try to work with the sun and the moon.
yeah.
Well, with the moon, I work with the moon more. And I'm a Leo at it. And I love moon. I love working with the moon.
That's it. That's good. That's really good. Yeah. That's really nice. Um, and yes, Dina, just reiterating, yes, your working with the moon for you is really good because that Leo sun needs the moon because Leo is really, really active and it's really outward. And sometimes it's hard for Leo to feel their feelings. Sometimes it's hard for Leo to relate to people who have deep emotional feelings. I'm just saying. So working with the moon is really, really
So
good.
I'm an empath.
Huh?
I, I'm such an empath. I don't watch TV like I used to anymore because I was always crying. I cried
Because you
on
feel it.
everything.
Look,
I
the
was
thing
crying
is,
after the deep meditation.
yeah, girl. You know what, Dina? The thing is, one of the things that a Leo has that makes them not become so broken down is because they have so much authority within them that they go forward, and it's like they can't help it. They have a lot of natural forward momentum. Now, you might have in your chart some things that slow you down. You know, you're not just Leo. You are all the planets are in there functioning in some way and they're creating aspects, so you can have things that can soften you up, but by the general nature of Leo is kind of to be really strong and moving forward. It's kind of like, I'm a lion, I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Very good, but I love your insight. And
I
yes,
think I'm a zodiac.
you think you're zodiac what?
Yeah, I'm a zodiac, but I'm a little bit of everything.
Yeah, uh-huh, yeah. For sure. We all are, we all are. And I just don't like to try to overwhelm people because there is a lot of information out there on the internet. Like, people have a lot of good information. For me, I just try to keep it really, really, really simple and things that you can use. And I try to give you as many tools as I can while we're doing it, okay? All right, so let's see. I've got another person with their hand raised. Sandra. Oh, Sandra, hold on a second. I think I need to do one thing with you. Here we go. Let me hop over here. There we go, Sandra. I am unmuting you.
Hello,
Hi, Sandra, is that you?
that's me.
Yay. Okay, so please, you had a question.
I do. So, what about the other phases of the moon? I know you talked about the and the and the moon, but what about the crescent moons and the waxing and waning? Was it
Well,
gibbous moon?
so those are really so there are four major moon phases, and it's the quarter. And the thing is, what I focus on the new moon and the full moon again because it's a little bit too much to try to focus every week on a phase of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the astrologer Henry Seltzer, like seltzer water, I'm going to just type his name into the chat. He actually does a report of all four moon phases. Henry Seltzer and his astrograph.com. I just put it in by the way, I just put his name in the chat box. So if you click on that link, it'll take you to his website. But you can sign up to get the moon reports delivered, or his astrology reports delivered to your inbox. He's wonderful. I like him as an astrologer. But so here's the thing. Waxing and waning just describes whether the moon is growing or shrinking. A crescent moon just describes the shape of the moon in the sky. And you have the first quarter, the the first and third quarter moons, the new and the full. So it's like you have those four main moon phases. I don't deal with the first and the third quarter just because it's too much. Give it to me when it's empty or give it to me when it's full. I'm not thinking about the moon any other time. That's my own little idiosyncrasy. But you can definitely work with them though. There's nothing wrong with it, you know? Does that help?
What's the importance of them, though? I mean, what did you say about the crescent moon? I missed that.
The crescent moon simply describes the shape of the moon in the sky, right? And so it means that the moon is growing, so it forms a crescent in the sky, and it means that the moon is growing, so it's waxing. And when it's another side of the crescent, it means that it's waning, it's getting smaller. Those just describe the shape of the moon.
Right, but is there any energetic significance to it?
Yeah, sure. But I don't go into it. What I'm saying is I don't go into it because I'm not really all that interested in them.
Oh, got it.
And basically, yeah. But the thing is, keep in mind, it's a phase, right? It's one moon going through her different phases, and it's waxing, meaning that it's growing into the full moon, and it's waning, meaning that it's coming into the new moon phase. And so you can kind of look at it as like if we have it and it's a black moon. It's a black moon, it's an empty moon, it's a new moon, that's the new moon. It eventually has to get full, right? So it's going to grow. In 2 weeks it becomes a full moon, right? And then that's going to drain. And then it'll become, in 2 weeks, it'll become empty. Does that help at all?
Yep, it does. Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm glad. Because I just don't look at every one, like every quarter, to know what's going on energetically. I've never even considered looking at it because it's just too much. That is not my primary thing, and I just can't, you know?
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. But I do appreciate that new and full moon phase completely, and it's something that I can relate to. I like things that I can really I like things that have a big impact because I like to be able to feel it, you know? Yeah, I need to be able to feel things because I'm not really all that subtle. I'm not all that into that subtle stuff, so I need to like be able to be impacted, hit over the head.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for the question. All right. Are there any other questions? Okay, nobody's got their hand raised. I'm going to just hop on Facebook. I've got 2 people still hanging out on Facebook. That's so cool. Hi. That's good. Oh, there's some good comments on Facebook. I wish I could get into it, but otherwise I'm running out of time over here on Zoom, so I'm not. But it's cool. Thanks, Facebook listeners. I appreciate it. That's cool. All right. So we've talked about the full moon. Okay. So I want to talk about one retrograde. There's one retrograde that I talk about because it happens so damn often. The retrograde I talk about happens 3 to 4 times a year. Other retrogrades do not happen that often, okay? And so when it happens, it gets really frustrating. And the impact of what you feel when it happens is so strong that everybody's talking about it because you can, it's palpable. You can taste it, you can feel it, you can see it, you can feel it. And that's Mercury retrograde. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Mercury goes retrograde on the 28th, and I'm sorry, you guys, I'm going to get those dates for you. But it lasts for about 2.5 to 3 weeks, okay? Mercury retrograde. So planet Mercury, beautiful little planet, is the planet of communication and commerce. So it's the planet of communication, things going back and forth. When things are like when I'm communicating to you, I'm sending you messages, I'm speaking you messages, you're receiving the message, and then you're responding and then sending me something back, right? So it's two-way conversation. Things like anything that does that two-way conversation or two-way expression is of Mercury. So travel, going from one place to another and coming back. So you always return home. There's always a need to return home. So travel goes with Mercury. Business goes with Mercury. I have a service that I'm offering. Someone's receiving my service, right? That's going. The exchange of money for products, yeah? So these things are all of Mercury. When Mercury and Earth are on the same side of the sun, everything's good. Everything's going in order, no problem. But what happens is Earth is over here going in this direction, and then Mercury is very quick, right? It's a small planet. It's really close to the sun. It's going in that direction because it's on the other side of the sun, and the Earth is going like that. That's called retrograde. The Earth is going in one direction, and Mercury's going in another. That's a retrograde. And that's, by the way, what happens with all the planets. So that's what's meant by retrograde. There's this kind of action happening. And oh, my sweet baby has come in. He was outside all quiet. So anyway, this retrograde thing is happening. Now, when this thing happens with the bigger planets, you don't notice it so much. You know, it's slower. It's not that big of a deal, you know. You're okay. And Earth is moving along. So it's, you know, it's all right. You can deal with the retrograde, blah, blah, blah. It's not on the surface. But when this happens with Mercury, because it deals with communication, and by the way, technology is communication. Your whole motherboard of your computer is a communication warehouse, powerhouse, right? So our computers are the first thing to go. You start getting stuck screen. Your computer didn't save this thing that you hit save. You know you hit save and it didn't save it. My computer crashed. Blah, blah, blah. Then the mind goes. You start losing things. Oh, I can't find my keys. You know, blah, blah, blah. So when Mercury goes retrograde, you want to avoid doing things that are going to put you into the realm of spending money, exchanging money, and exchanging communication that's permanent or potentially damaging. So during a Mercury retrograde period, you don't want to invest money in big ticket items like a car or a washing machine or a house. You do not want to sign contracts because contracts are a form of communication. So mechanical things like a car, that's transportation, but also it's a big mechanical thing where all the engine parts have to communicate with one another, especially in modern cars where everything is electronic and run by computers. No investments in computers or technology during Mercury retrograde. I'm talking a lot. I'm talking fast. Raise your hand if you want me to answer something, or if you have a question that comes up. So no investments in big ticket electronic or technology items. Apple released like its first iPhone during a retrograde period, or one of its early iPhones during a retrograde period, and had to recall all those phones. They had to redo a whole bunch of stuff. That was really amazing to watch. And they've done that a couple of times, and they've had so many glitches during those years with the phones. Anyway, so we have Mercury going retrograde in Leo, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of the month. All you have to do when Mercury goes retrograde is simply slow down and understand that every retrograde period, the greatest benefit is to redo things. So for me, whenever Mercury goes retrograde, I get out my journal and I tune into how I feel. And I look at where I feel stuck and like sticky. I feel like my energy is blocked. I feel like dark negative emotions, anger, resentment, bitterness. All those things will really come out because as I'm trying to move forward, Mercury retrograde is pulling me back. Yeah? So during those time periods, I'm more aware of how I'm starting to feel. I notice where I'm getting resentful, where I'm not able to express myself. where I'm where people are coming at me maybe with more aggression or more hostility, they are also going through retrograde. So we're all feeling sticky. The key during a retrograde period is to relax and let go. And don't try to force things to go your way. Instead, become a little more feminine, a little more receptive, and become a little more nurturing of the environment where you are, where you're instead of fighting with someone where you're butting heads, understand that you're not seeing them, because even visually seeing someone is communication, but the communication is blurred because Mercury is retrograde. So you're not seeing a person right, you're not seeing a situation right. So the past is coming up to exert its influence on you. So your job during Mercury retrograde is to slow down and to stop trying to make a lot of decisions. Don't draw conclusions. Wait. Instead, be contemplative. Think. Relax. Feel into situations more. Slow down and allow situations to come to you. Allow things to be revealed to you. You see? I hope that makes sense. Does anybody have questions? Dina, does that help you? Remember to unmute yourself or raise your hand if you have a question.
Yes, it helps a lot.
Okay, very good. If anybody else questions? All right, let me, we are already, I've gone on too long, my friends. I've gone on too long. And what I'm going to do, I have an appointment at 6 o'clock, but I want to continue talking to you, obviously. So I'm going to just write my client and tell them that I'm going to be a little bit late. She might actually be on this call. Okay, I've just written, and if she's on this call, then you'll know. All right, here we go. I'm back. I'm back. All right, Bossy has a question. Let's see, hold on one second, Bossy. Here we go. Unmute. Hey, Bossy.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. I'm doing good.
Good.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
So I was wondering, I'm coming up to have like one of my major certifications I've kind of been working on. It's coming up to take a test in August, like the beginning of August. And that's during the Mercury retrograde. So I just kind of wanted to get an idea of, like, during that time. I mean, like, you're talking about not doing anything major or contracts or anything like that, but this is something I've been pursuing for 10 months now. So it's just kind of all coming to a head. So I'm just kind of wondering how I should be dealing with that, with doing the test and focusing during that time. And
Yeah, it's a very good question. It's an excellent, excellent question. Let me ask you something. Have you taken this test before?
no, but I just recently got this test is for RYT 200 yoga teacher training that I'm doing. So I'm trying to get that certification for my teacher training, and it's kind of like just compiling all these other things that I've been doing and transitioning from a whole nother career and just trying to go forward with my business, my own thing. And so it's kind of something I've been working on. But I haven't taken the test. No.
Okay.
before.
All right. So I'm going to just inject this and I'm going to come back to your question. But when you're dealing with Mercury retrograde, redoing things at Mercury retrograde is really good. So let's say that you were taking the bar exam and you passed the bar, that you failed the bar the first time. Redoing it under a retrograde, Mercury retrograde in particular, would be particularly beneficial to you. Now, what I would do, Bossy, is as you are going into this exam for your yoga teacher certification, I would slow down a lot and understand that I would not try to rely on my brain to guide me. I would go much more into my heart center and I would follow the feelings of my heart and use my feminine nature more than I would my thinking nature. Now, can you give me an example of one of the questions that would be on your test?
Um, it would be things about learning Sanskrit terminology for certain asanas. So it would be things in depth about the entire yoga practice. You know,
Okay.
I can't, you know,
That's
and it's not multiple choice, you know.
right.
So
Well, even better.
also muscles and connecting, you know, what muscle groups or what type,
Anatomy.
like if, yeah, anatomy, like if someone has shoulder issues or shoulder problems, what type of sequence would I put together
See, this is the
to
kind of stuff that you're gonna
heal that person?
do very well in this, and here's why. Here's why. With Mercury, it's about the mind, right? And the constructive use of the mind. With Mercury retrograde, if you try to force yourself to think about this stuff in a rational, logical way, you might find yourself getting a little bit confused because the rational Mercury mind is not going to be it's not at its best when it's retrograde, right? But
Mm-hmm.
But if you can allow yourself to sink into your heart and allow and this is a conscious turning off of the mind and saying, you know what, I'm going into this exam from a different place. So this is yoga. Yoga is about union. It's about helping someone feel better. Rather than be by the book, I'm going to go in there and lead with my heart, and I'm going to allow that to be the thing that colors my mind. Now, the thing is, if you don't know anatomy, you don't know anatomy, period. If you do know anatomy, it's not going to leave you. It's there. All I'm saying is
Yeah.
use a different approach to it. If you have learned the stuff, it's going to be there for you. It's not going anywhere just because Mercury's retrograde. But how you access that information might be different than normal. And if you're a person who at an exam, you're accustomed to having a very orderly thing that you know you go over here and you want your exam to go in this way, that may not work for you. So I'm saying to get yourself prepared to say, you know what, there's one thing I got control over, and that's knowing that my heart is king. So I'm going to go in, and for this test, I'm going to always think about how I can serve my client or my student, right? I'm a yoga teacher. How can I best serve this student? So it comes up, and the question is, you have a client with gastroenteritis. And you're going to sit there and you say, instead of just, okay, gastroenteritis, what did they say that I should do for that? Boom, 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 boom. Nope. Gastroenteritis, that feels like, oh, I feel gassy. Oh, I feel bloating. I feel distension. First thing I'm going to do is have my client go into a gentle fold and just get on that floor and ba, ba, ba. See, you see why you don't want multiple choice questions while it's Mercury retrograde. You don't want to be hemmed in. You know, you want to be able to go with the flow. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, and it does make sense because I'm a very, like with me, I have a Aquarius moon, and then I have a Capricorn sun,
Yeah.
and so I'm very brainy. I'm already in my head, and I come from the background of occupational therapy, so I'm very, I'm familiar with all the anatomy and everything. I'm very, into that, but I don't use that terminology on a daily basis because I'm more direct with just trying to break things down to layman terms for people to understand, with my patients. So
Yes.
this switch into the yoga community, from the health community, it's different, and it's a different mindset, and I still sometimes try to really overanalyze and get very technical and in my brain all the time with, I need to know how to spell these Sanskrit words, and if and I get over anxious, and
Yeah.
so I was starting to get pretty antsy and built up about this is coming, and
Yeah.
having money issues coming up, and am I going to be able to, so I know I'm starting to freak out, so it kind of is good to, I do need to, come out of the logic, the thoughts are all about it, and get back into just the heart of why I'm
Exactly.
here, and get back there.
Exactly.
So yeah, I get it. Thank you. It all does make good sense. Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad. Who else has some questions? And Bossy, I think that's really great. It was such a great example for you to bring that up, because it's like who else is taking exams, who else is trying to try something during this time period. And the Mercury retrograde, the shadow period starts tomorrow, and then come on, bud. Apollo's telling me he has to go pee. He's gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to hold it, dude. Just sit down. um Look at my baby. Oh, my sweet dog. Oh, my sweet dog. Oh, my goodness, my sweet dog. Um, right. So Mercury shadow period starts now. And don't worry about the shadow period too much. What I want you to just understand is that Mercury starts to feel retrograde before it goes retrograde. And after it goes direct, it still feels like it's direct. I mean, it still feels like it's retrograde. So the whole Mercury retrograde period feeling is actually about 4 weeks. So that's a long time. And you would want to kind of consider that starts right now. And so between now and actually we would, uh, let's say until the mid of August. So between now until mid-August, things will start feeling a little sticky, and start slowing yourself down. Don't be too worried about things. Don't be too stressed out. Remember to step back, and remember to work on your feelings. Work from your feeling nature, and give your mind a rest. Give your thinking nature a rest. Okay? All right, so I want to open up everything for questions, because that's basically all I have to say about the reports. Are there any questions? And I'm going to take questions from our people who signed on first, but everybody raise your hand if you have a question, or if you have something you want me to work on with you for this moment.
Hi, Crystal Lynn. This is Mara. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mara, let me find you. Here we are. Yes, hi.
Hi. So I have a question just regarding tarot deck suggestions
Sure.
to go with moon phases.
Yes.
I have Doreen Virtue, her goddess deck, and her angel cards, but
Yes.
looking to find something that has more ethnic or cultural diversity in the depictions. And so just wondering if you can, oh, you know what, for Black women, I'll put it like that. So if you have any suggestions that have, strong images of African American or brown skinned girls on tarot decks, I would be greatly appreciated.
You know what? It's such a great question, and I actually don't have a lot of insight about. I don't have any suggestions, and I'm sorry, Mira. I don't have any suggestions of brown skinned decks that really feature brown-skinned people. And I think my reasoning for that is simply because it hasn't ever been an issue for me. Hold on, I want to say this the right way. It's never really, it just hasn't come up for me like I feel like I need to see them. I've always been just very accepting of whatever was put out there. But that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be, right? And that there are, but there are lots. And as a matter of fact, in my last tarot class, a woman had the cutest deck, and it was based on, I have to look it up because African tarot deck. It was based on the Rider Waite. I just found it. Ha! I'm going to send you a picture of it. It's called African Tarot, Journey into Self, and it's by a woman named Marina Romito. Marina, Marina, M-A-R-I-N-A, Romito, R-O-M-I-T-O. I don't know if this is going to let me insert a picture. I don't think it will. Okay, and it's called African Tarot. This was a beautiful little deck, really affirmative. And we're using traditional Rider-Waite ideology. I'm sorry, symbology. That's what I mean, symbolism.
Yes, for me, I have been doing a lot of ancestor work and altar work.
Yes.
I just really wanted to be honoring that and bring that into my practice.
Yeah.
But also finding that there aren't a lot of decks that represent various cultures
Yes.
in the depictions, and so really just wanting to open up to the community that might have more ideas about that.
Yes.
Just as a way to connect.
If anyone on the call has insights about this, please feel free to just unmute yourself and interject whatever decks you're using, because it's what you're saying, Mira, is really brilliant. It's really beautiful, and what a wonderful way. There was a wonderful man. This guy did these art photos of the Orishas. And but I actually approached him and asked him if I could work with his images, and he had already found someone. So let me Tarot of the Orishas. That is one. At the time, he wasn't going to do anything with them, and I think that he has since. So let me give you that link. No, that's not the same deck, but this is a deck. No, okay, yeah, he hasn't actually developed them into a usable card. So there's also the Tarot of the Orishas. For me, this is not I've looked at this deck before, and I wasn't really into it because it strays from traditional tarot as it originated in Italy in the I believe it's the 15th century. I might be wrong. For me, I like traditional tarot. I don't like new meanings. I don't mix meanings. That's not my thing. But I found that the Tarot of the Orishas was actually a beautiful deck, and I like the Orisha cards for in and of themselves. Now, this guy that I was talking about, I don't actually see his deck listed, so I don't know if he formulated it into a deck or not, but I can give you a link to the images to look at. And this is a YouTube video, but I don't know, it's like they're reviewing the deck. but this might be something that's interesting for you. So I'm going to pop this in the chat as well.
Thank you. And I don't mean to sound segregationalist at all. I'm just really trying to connect further for myself, in searching for myself. So I apologize if the question alienated anyone on the call as well. But, just for me, it is important just to find images that look like me, like my daughters, and to be practicing with images that look like me and my daughters as well. So,
yeah. Look, I have actually I'm designing my own tarot deck, and it is a mixture of people, just because it was natural. Not that I thought about it, it was the natural thing. I'm having my own tarot deck. It's not going to be full of white people. It just wouldn't be. Why would it be? Why wouldn't do that? So yes. So I think that what you're saying is great, and I also appreciate the that you're softening. Although not that you were so gentle and lovely in your approach with it anyway. So I don't. But anyway, I'm sure people appreciate it. If anybody was offended,
thank you.
I'm sure that they're not any longer.
Can you guys hear me? I just wanted to chime in on that because I've been working with the Oracle deck, the Isis deck, and that's the closest that I've found that has representation of, Egyptians or people with dark skin like myself. So it's a really amazing deck that really goes in to, your inner self. So maybe if you want to look that up, it's not very expensive. It's beautiful. And it has images of Black people.
And who's that talking?
This is Raven.
Oh, that was you, Raven. I'm sorry. And I for whatever reason, I'm not seeing that. I'm not sure what I did. But yes, okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, that's
Thank
good.
you, Raven.
Thank you, Raven. Does anybody else have any brown skin decks? Excellent. All right. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And I have another question too, Crystal.
Yeah.
It's Mara again, just about Mercury retrograde and sex. And because it's kind of like entering into a contract in a sense. And so just kind of trying to get some more clarity around that.
Wait, is this the first time you're having sex with a person?
Probably yes. So
Well,
I have a Mercury retrograde man that comes around, and so yeah, he's coming back around. So just any suggestions or advice that you can give on that would be great as well too.
Well, number one, I would definitely sit down and meditate on that one, because if he keeps coming around, you call him the Mercury retrograde man. So does he come around every Mercury retrograde?
Since 2015 when we met, Mercury retrograde 2015. So
out of here! Come on, that is awesome! Wow, I love it. Boy, yeah. Okay, so do you want it to end, or are you okay with that?
Oh no, I like this kind of flow that we're in. And, kind of want to take it to that next level, but, don't want to give my magic away in this relationship yet because, we haven't entered into that contract. And so is this a good time to do it? Because I'm feeling all kinds of sensuality popping off. And
That sounds wonderful. Look, I feel like retrograde is really interesting because entering into a contract with something that you've done over again, like that you messed up before, this is the only time you can sign contracts during Mercury retrograde, is when you've actually done it before. So, for example, I remember I was on a software company. I signed up right before the retrograde period. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was my spa management software. I used to own a day spa. And the spa management software I went into sucked. It was bad. I kept it for a year. I invested so much money into it, so much time in setting it up, And then the next year, I just had an impulse. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not renewing. I'm going with this other company. And I had a totally different experience. And both times I was in the retrograde period. So the first time going in, it was a mistake. I corrected it during the retrograde period. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make
Yeah,
sense. It
okay,
does.
good. Very good. Okay, very good. Excellent. So yes, that would be a good way to look at it. But for me, the starting point is going to be for you to start with your meditation, tuning into your higher self and being very careful, because your ego will misinterpret some of the messages from your higher self. I think that it would be perfectly okay for you to not make any big decisions, but, you know, follow your heart, but not making any really big decisions while the retrograde is done, unless you feel that inspiration that says, you know what, I'm going for it. Then you go for it, you know? Does it make sense?
It does. It does. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Have fun.
I'll meditate on that, and we shall see. So thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. Very good. Excellent. All right, I've got two people with hands raised. Hello. Let's see what's happening. Nothing's happening. I have Casey O'Bannon. You are unmuted and ready. Oh, uh-oh. You are unmuted. Casey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Hi. So this is actually flowing off of, I guess, what Mary was talking about last, as far as signing relationship contracts during Mercury retrograde. Now, the issue, I don't know if you can give insight on this, but I have a twin flame, which, of course, we all know if you've had one, it's like a whole thing in itself. I've had my relationship with my twin flame. It's going on its 10th year, and by relationship, the first 5 years of it, we were best friends. Then, of course, it turned into what it is now. And we've ever since, it was about 3-4 years ago, is where we had our separation, where we turned into the chaser and the runner aspect. And I, unfortunately, have been the chaser, and he has been the runner. We're both very much Mercury influenced. He's a Gemini, and I am a Mercury dominant. I'm a Taurus sun, but I'm a Gemini moon, Venus, and Mercury. So I was wondering, because our last TIFF actually, it was about 3 months ago, where it was honestly, it was very nonchalant, the argument we got into, but it was more of I was fed up with honestly the whole relationship in general. It hasn't even been bad. It's just like with the same cycle. I was tired of the cycle, and I halted the relationship altogether. And I haven't really reached out to him since then. And I've actually been, within the past week, I think, as the planets are going retrograde, I've been thinking about reconciling with him. But would you think that would be a good suggestion during the Mercury retrograde, since it is going retrograde and we're both so heavily Mercury influenced?
Yeah.
Would you recommend that it wait a little further? What would be your insight on that?
I think I'd probably reach out and do some kind of like touch base for a connection during the retrograde period. But the thing is, hold on, let me go back, because I had an insight. Oh, the insight that I had is that you might want to do a little work to find out what the point of attraction is for you all, to understand the nature of the energetic nature of what you all are mirroring to one another, and doing the shadow work, the inner work, to help get clear about like the negative thing that you all are attracting to one another, that thing that needs to be healed. Because if it's not being healed, well, if there's discord when you come together, there's something that wants healing. And then see, and that would be really great to do while Mercury's retrograde.
Would be to do the shadow work?
To do the shadow work and around that discord, for sure.
Okay.
And you know,
all right.
That full moon in Aquarius will be a very good complement for that.
Okay, which I am an Aquarius rising. I don't know how much that really heavily influences me, but I definitely am attracted to a lot of Aquarian nature, which I also think is why I'm so attracted to Gemini.
Yeah.
So I definitely am always open, just always open to everything. But I just, the stubborn, honestly, it's just the stubbornness in me. I can't really, especially because I am so heavily Mercury influenced. I'm definitely an overanalyzer and overthinker to the point I can't tell if I'm like really feeling my emotion, if I'm thinking them through, or if I'm thinking what I'm feeling. So I definitely think shadow work will be a compliment in that to actually help me discern between the two. So I definitely think I'll work on that during this time. And you would recommend during this time of retrograde, per se, to go ahead and do that.
Yep, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent. All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, Amber. Amber, are you there? Uh-oh. Unmute Amber. I'm trying to unmute Amber. Amber, can you unmute yourself? Wait, let me unmute everybody. Unmute all. Amber.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Oh, I had to give permission to my audio. Sorry.
Okay. Hi.
Hi. So I missed most of your show and I was so bummed. But
Replay.
I'm kind of just have some questions. My birthday is smack dab in the middle of the summer on the July 24th, and I'm turning 38. And I have huge changes coming. So I'm all fire. I'm like Leo sun, Sag moon, and rising. And I have a custody court case I've been battling through for a couple years with my daughter's father, and I'm supposed to come to a finality on August 16th. And I was just kind of wondering, like, if you have any advice in the energies based around my sign, and all of the planets I think are in retrograde during my birthday. So I just didn't know if you had any advice around that.
Yes. Let me see. What sign is your ex-husband?
He's an Aries. He's 4484 is his birthday.
Okay.
Lots of fours. I know there's a lot of karmic stuff that's been clearing for a long time between me and him.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I'm tuning in, let me actually. Tell me your question again. Like,
I'm kind of just curious about the energies because it dragged through till August 16th and my birthday's coming up. So I'm trying to have the best outcome. I'm not trying to have a winner or loser. I'm moving away. I'm getting remarried, and I'm just trying to build the best life for my daughter and stability. I'm not trying to take her 100%. I'm just trying to have her for school time. And he's been battling me on that, even though he cannot actually support her that amount of time.
So you want
And
to have her, you want to have the thing that you desire is to have your daughter during school days during the week.
For stability, yes, and home for vacation
And
with her dad.
With her dad on vacations. What about weekends?
Well, I'd be moving to Hawaii, the Big Island. I've been drawn there, and that's where my fiance lives. So she would be traveling by plane.
Okay,
to
so
see her father.
yeah, right. Okay, so that you're moving away.
Yeah.
And is the court trying to get you to stay put?
No, actually, I got a wonderful judge that's open to hearing my daughter out and seeing the big picture. For a while there, it was a big uphill battle. A lot of karmic stuff, a lot of fears, a lot of stuff was coming up. Many past lives I've lived with him. I know he's murdered me in a few. We've been through some stuff, and so I could see the clearing. And I'm the one who's been doing the work. And surprisingly, he just started going to church this year, so I feel the shift happening with him. I was just kind of curious around the energies around the August 16th and my birthday, and what the energies say I should focus on. So when I go in there, it's not ego based, it's not fear based.
All right, so let me go ahead and tune in now. I feel more clear. Okay. So what I understand is that I definitely pick up on the old karmic connection, and I definitely pick up on the different frequencies that are trying to come to some kind of a harmony between you two, you and your ex-husband. But what is happening is there's something that's not quite harmonized, and for you to have the outcome that you want. And
Is there anything I can do on my end to help harmonize that frequency?
well, I have a feeling that it has to do with your daughter and her dad. I think it's actually an issue of your daughter and her dad.
He's very dependent on her, like, needing to be around him. Like, I know he courts her a lot.
Okay. You know, I think that first of all, this is probably not an appropriate place for us to go into this.
Oh, okay.
Reason being, this is not really a time for me to do readings on people.
Okay.
And this is actually going to be more of a reading than just dealing with shadow work, you know, or dealing with an emotional issue, because you have some
Do you
things
see any shadow work I need to do to get out of the way of myself? Maybe then, and then that, since she can't do the other part.
let's see.
For my outcome, because I tend to self-sabotage.
Oh, don't we all?
Yes.
How old is your daughter?
She's 9. She'll be 10 in October.
Let her talk to her. I don't really see any shadow work around you that is, you know, other than your regular shadow work.
Yeah.
But your daughter could use some clarity. Maybe checking in with her to find out, seeing what you can do some work to help her get to her true desires, because she's torn between you know, two people she loves, and it's way too confusing.
Right.
So I would check in with her, and you know, I would use that as I think that's the key.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense, Amber?
I know, yeah, it does. It does. She just recently told her father the desire to move with me, but she was afraid to. She was afraid to because she doesn't want him to think that she abandoned him. She's only 9. Like, oh.
Yes, of course. They carry so much burden on their shoulders. Like,
yeah, and it doesn't help. He's kind of put it there. He's kind of put more of, and that's what we do. We, before we're not conscious, we put our stuff on our other people and our kids, and
yes,
he's done that. So she's definitely a big, great, beautiful soul who's compassionate, who's taken upon herself. She seems to think that Daddy will not be okay without her.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's really challenging, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would definitely look into that, you know, and
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank
of
you
course.
so
And
much.
you know, by the way, if you want me to sit down and do a reading for you ladies, you know, just let me know. You book in. to have a reading, or to, if you want to do some sessions, one-on-one shadow work stuff, just drop me a line, send me an email. Yeah, and we'll figure out some stuff, okay?
Awesome. That'd be
All right.
great.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Amber, and good luck with everything. Happy birthday. Yeah?
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, man. Excellent. Very good. All
Yes, I'm
right.
excited.
Yes, indeed.
I'll be 38, so it breaks down to an 11 in the 11 year. I'm like, oh, it's a big year.
That is a big year. That's
Yes.
awesome. It's a good year. And you said you have a Sagittarius rising?
Yes.
Yeah. It's so funny. All the Sagittarians are going to Hawaii. Like every Sagittarian I know is like, I'm going to Hawaii. And they do.
Moon and rising, yeah.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank
everyone, for joining us today. And that was a good long session. We'll be back here. We will be back here at the beginning, the first week of the first Saturday in August. And I will have that report completed. And so keep your eyes open in the email for details, right? And then Rich will be up and running. I think we need to go ahead and sign off. I've kept my client waiting long enough. So I look forward to seeing you all soon. All right. And thanks for coming. And big kisses. Namaste. And the replay will be up, by the way. It will be all over the place. I'll email it to you. It'll be on my website. And it'll be on YouTube. So please feel free to check it out if you missed anything and want to check out what you missed. All right? All right. Bye for now, lovelies. Signing off. Mwah. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.